Everyone. This is Tim Winders, host of Seek, Go, Create. And I want to welcome you. This is a special episode that we're recording and doing that will release the final Monday of the year 2020. And it will just be me. I think most people know that primarily I do interviews. I love doing interviews. I love talking to people, but I'm going to do something a little bit different. We're going to be doing a few of these as we head into 2021 also. So I hope that you like them. Love to get your feedback on me just doing some solo episodes. And listen, what a year it's been. And let me just kind of give you the premise of what this episode is all about. I'm not sure if you're listening to it prior to the year 2020 ending or early in 2021 or even later in 2021, but we're going to discuss redefining success in 2021. And I've got 5 keys to growth that I'm going to go over, kind of a teaching that I'm going to talk about and cover a few things that I've observed in myself, in clients, and in others, not just this year, but over the years, things that are kind of critical for us to succeed and really redefine success is what we like to discuss here on Seek, Go, Create. And let's just go ahead and admit to ourselves, 2020 has been quite a year. It's been an interesting year. It's been challenging for many people. You know, we've had a pandemic, we've had economic issues, not to mention all the personal issues that I'm sure people have gone through. There are a lot of people who have had great years, I'm sure, but probably if we're really truthful ourselves, it's been a challenging year for many of us. In this episode, we're going to discuss what we learned in 2020, some lessons learned, and some things that we believe have value with those lessons. And we're also going to talk about how we can use that to our advantage as we move into 2021. And for those that have been listening to Seek, Go, Create, they know that the theme of the episodes that we had in the month of December really revolved around that as we discussed with our team, people in our family and on the Seek, Go, Create team, what they learned, how 2020 impacted them, and what they're going to be doing as they head into 2021. This is sort of that for me and my observations and some things that I think we can all benefit from. Plus, I really encourage you to stick around to the end of this episode, because at the end of this episode, I'm going to, I guess, share or reveal or, I don't know, discuss how you can be a part of some very unique episodes we're going to be doing, we expect to be doing in early part of 2021, where we're going to redefine success 2021 with some coaching type episodes. And what I'm hopeful to do is get people like you and people like you that have an organization or that lead a business or in a leadership role that would like some coaching or some help. And we're going to discuss what it's going to look like to maybe get on a call and have a conversation, coaching conversation, and then possibly allow that to be an episode. We'll discuss that at the end of this episode, but let's talk a little bit about what all we went through in 2020. And some of you might be going, oh no, I don't even want to go into 2020. I just want to kind of forget about it. And I get that, but you know what? If we do not kind of reflect back on and assess what years like 2020 were, then it's very easy for us to possibly duplicate any challenges that we went through again and again. And listen, I've been a coach. I've taught myself in leadership and studied leadership and business success for years and years and years. And let me just tell you, there was some challenging seasons that I had this year. So anyway, we're going to go over what I just kind of sat down over the last few weeks and I listed out what I believe are 5 keys to growth or success as we head into the next year. And really, these are somewhat timeless, but I believe they're more critical now than they've ever been, just because of all that we've been through. So anyway, I do want to say, how many people out there are excited about the calendar turning over and us going into a new year. I know a lot of people are just really looking forward to putting 2021 behind. And listen, I get that. It was a great year for us and our family, and it was a challenge in so many ways. I just kind of like a quick assessment for us. I became a first time grandfather, which for those that have never experienced that, it's a game changer. It's awesome. It's phenomenal. It's the coolest thing ever. So that was awesome. And that happened about 4 or 5 weeks before the country or the world, but specifically in the United States, we shut down because of a pandemic. We were actually in the Colorado area visiting with our daughter and son-in-law and our new granddaughter when all of that happened. And that was, it was cool to kind of be locked down near them, but being in Colorado, it was cold. We're obviously in an RV. That's what we live in. It wasn't that exciting, going out and seeing people in masks and seeing a lot of fear. It just really grieved me. And also, some of you may have heard me talk about this before, because we went through so many challenges back in 2008, 9, 10, 11 financially. I really knew in my gut that there was going to be a lot of financial challenge that people were going to experience because of what we were going through with the lockdown and businesses being shut down. And it was kind of beyond their control, but I knew it was going to be a challenge. So I was really going through a lot of grief. I realized I was really grieving in March, April, and May. And I was reading maybe too much news and looking at what was going on. And it really was a struggle. I won't lie to you. We were able to travel some during the year. We didn't travel much the first half of the year. For those that may not know, I'm actually broadcasting from our RV. We live full time in an RV, so we like to travel and move around a little bit, not all the time, but a little bit. And so come June, we actually went east to go visit family, leaving Colorado, visited a few places along the way. And I'll just go ahead and tell you, it was really tough for us then because we had some family health issues we were dealing with. All of our parents, my parents and my wife's parents were going through some health issues. We had to tend to that. And then as the year went along, we moved around a little bit in the southeastern United States, and then we headed west. And really, at the time of recording this, we are actually in Utah, and this is a beautiful part of the country. We're excited to be here. But most people know that with all that was going on and the restrictions and what was happening around not just the United States, but the world, travel was difficult, and we love to travel. So all of that was a struggle for us. And I know it has been for many of you, people that just like to get out and move around. It's been very limiting. And of course, all that came from the pandemic, which there was some sickness, there was death. And, a lot of it was possibly blown out of proportion, but truthfully, there really was a virus that was moving around, and even the scientists and our leaders and political leaders, they really didn't know what to do. And you know what, that's a struggle for all of us when we really admit that we don't really have control over a lot of things in our lives, including a pandemic and a virus that we really don't know what to do. We try to wear masks and social distance, but it still continues to move around. And that's just difficult. It's difficult for all of us. It was difficult for the world. It wasn't localized. Wasn't even regionalized or even by country. It was the entire world. And I just want to acknowledge how difficult that was, sickness, people dying, our parents had illness. And so 2020 has been tough. And listen, I'm a coach. I had some clients that really struggled. I had some clients that did well. We did pretty well from our business standpoint, but my wife went through some job changes and all of that. So I say all of that to really give the observation of it's been a tough year. And I know I'm telling you something that you already know, but I think one of the important things for all of us to do is acknowledge this has been what we hope is an anomaly, a black swan, a unique event. Let's just hope that that's the case. But, for those that pray, let's pray that this is a very unique experience that most of us will never see or experience again in our lifetimes. I know we're all believing and hopeful for that as we move into the next year. But the thing that I really wanted to do was, having said all of that and discuss all the ugly stuff that went on and all the weird stuff, was just talk about some of the things that we can be grateful for. And then also I want to go over what I consider to be 5 key growth areas, or 5 key things that we can use to kind of build on or grow or redefine success, which is kind of our theme here on Seek, Go, Create, as we move into 2021 and as we move through 2021. I sometimes have to tell people this. I forget this when I'm recording episodes and interviewing people, but a lot of people may not really know what I do. At heart, I believe that I am created to be a coach. I am designed to work with people, organizations, businesses, and help them achieve and accomplish the absolute biggest success that they can. That grammar wasn't very good there, but I didn't say I was a good in grammar, but I just believe that one of my callings, or one of my assignments in life, is to reach down inside people and organizations and pull out the greatness that's already there, and just to help that manifest, or to help it manifest what God placed there when you were created. And so because of that, I'm kind of wired to always be looking for the learning points, always be looking for the things that we can do to improve or to do better, or to, if we were good at something over a period of time, what can we do to be a little bit better? And of course, 2020 gives us plenty of opportunity to do better. And some people, if you're of the mindset that you're totally out of control, that maybe you're a victim, it's going to be very difficult for you to think that way. But I believe if you're listening in, that that's not your mindset. I believe you know that you have some responsibility for your success and what you do in life. And so if you do, then I think that you know that there are some things that you can do, that you can implement, that you can change, so that you can have more control over your success. And so that's what I want to discuss during this episode. I'm going to go over 5 keys, and I just want to go over some things that I just sat down and observed over the past year. And I'll tell you that this kind of started with me observing myself, and then it kind of built as I observed others and worked with clients. And then it kind of, gasoline was thrown on the fire as I interviewed so many people with our podcast and YouTube channel as the year unfolded, and discussed with other people what they were doing to move through this interesting year and have success and redefine success. That was really the theme that started developing. So with all that, I've really put together just these list of principles or action steps that I personally want to implement for me in 2021. And I just wanted to share them with you. So I'm going to go through those. So for those that might want to take notes or something, this would be a great opportunity to do that. I'm going to cover 5 key things. And I think a lot of them are mindset, a lot of them are action steps, but I'm going to mention each one, and then we're going to talk briefly about that. So number 1 key, I believe, is the word control. And when I say control, I guess it's important to understand the way some people are wired. And I think the biggest thing that happened with society, and especially with individuals, especially people that are wired maybe the way I'm wired, is that I realized how out of control I was during some parts of 2020, because I had very little control, at least I felt this way early on in March, April, and May, whether I could even move or travel. We had a season where air travel was shut down, or at least limited or restricted. And even though we're in an RV, we weren't sure if we could go anywhere. Some states were saying that you couldn't come into their state without being quarantined or locked down for a while. And you know what? That was very bothersome. I probably, like a lot of leaders, like many of you are, or entrepreneurs, or people that might be head of ministries or other organizations, I really am wired to control things. I know some of y'all are saying, yeah, of course you are, but I am really wired. I love being in control. I love controlling my world and my situation. And I really get, it drains me, it bothers me, it fatigues me, and I can get very irritable when I'm out of control. I'll give you a small little example is that we recently traveled from back east in Atlanta where our families were. And then, we kind of have to pack up everything in the RV and travel. And then we got to where we are here in Utah. And then right after that, we had some of our family visit us. And you know what? I recognized I got a little bit out of sync with my schedule. And I like to get up early in the morning. And I like to spend some time journaling and doing some Bible study and reading and kind of easing into my day with a cup of coffee. And you know what? When I'm traveling or when we have people visiting us, which it's my granddaughter and her family and all of that, but it just gets me out of whack. And I realize that I can be very irritable and I can just be tough to be around. I'm sure none of you are that way. No doubt. Y'all are all cool and easygoing. Well, just that micro example is one thing, but when the world from a macro standpoint is just pressing on us, it just lets us know that control can be difficult. And so it's really tough when you're a control oriented person or leader and you begin recognizing that you're not in control. So here's what I want to recommend with this first item is know what you control and attempt to not worry about the rest. Because I started looking at the news way too much. I started wondering what was going on politically as the year went along, and we had the political season here in the United States. And I just recognized that some of those things really bogged me down. So my effort, my challenge for myself and for you is as we head into 2021, identify what it is that you have control over and attempt not to allow the things that you don't have control over not to impact you or control you or fatigue you or any of those things that can cause irritation. So first key is control. Understand what you have control over and don't let the things that you don't bother you or bog you down. So that's one. Now these kind of build on each other. This is not really like a step 1, 2, 3 in order. All of these kind of intermesh and mix together. So control is number one. Number two is the word decide. And the big thing that I've noticed with Seek, Go, Create over the past year is something that we've called Redefine Success. And I think that many people have had to make a decision this year about how they define success. And so what I recommend is that all of us continually ask ourselves, how do we define success? So decide what success means to you. You know, a lot of people have had to work from home. A lot of people have had their work situations change. A lot of people have had things that they thought were important in their lives removed. And I'll give you examples, things like sports. Maybe your favorite sports team shut down. Maybe where you worshiped or, attended church, maybe it's shut down. Maybe concerts or entertainment or movies or things that you really, really love to do, you weren't able to do those. And so we were somewhat forced to spend time at home and spend time around family, which what I believe, and I'm hopeful for me and others, that actually is going to spill over and allow us to recognize those things that are really, really important to us. And I think it's going to help us really understand and decide on a day-to-day basis what really nourishes our soul and what we really were designed and created to do and to be. Now, most people know that listen to me. I'm a follower of Christ. So I'm a Christian, and one of the things that I truly believe, for those that aren't, that's cool, but just kind of listen in here for a moment. A little bit of preaching for you is that I believe that one decision that most of us will have, because everything was kind of stripped away over this last year, is we're going to decide where we live. And when I say where we live, for those that are followers of Christ, we have something that we call the kingdom of God. We're going to be able to decide, do we operate and live within the kingdom of God, God's kingdom, or the system that is the world, which seems to just be crumbling all around us for those that are really looking at what's happening. And so I think a big decision, not just many decisions, but bigger decisions for a lot of those folks that are followers of Christ or have interest in that, is which kingdom are you going to function in? The kingdom of the world or the kingdom of God? And as for me, I know part of my success is that decision to live in and reside and function in and operate in that kingdom of God as absolutely as often as I can. So anyway, so that's big decision. Small decisions are things like what we allow to control us and what we don't, going back to the item I mentioned, which was the number one item. So number one, control, not in any order. Number two, decide. Number three is the word partner. Now, the word partner sometimes bothers me because it's got a legal aspect to it, but I'm not really talking about the legal term partnership here. I'm talking about looking at the people and resources that are around you that can help you redefine success or have success as we move into 2021. I've shared this story before, and I'll go ahead and say it again. Back in 2008, when we went through a lot of our financial struggles and our financial challenges, one of the things that I did wrong was that I isolated myself. We had companies that did very well in real estate, and as 08, 9, 10, 11 occurred, they were just crumbling around us, and we were restructuring and, splitting off with partners we had and the legal partners. And one of the things I realized I did was that I made a mistake by isolating myself. I decided that because of whatever reason, I was not going to interact with people. And so I shut myself off. Well, in March of 2020, I purposed not to allow that to happen again. And I was constantly on my text and other things, just reaching out to people, trying to communicate with people, say, how are you doing? Is there anything I can do to help you? And you know what? I really encourage you as we go from 2020 to 2021 and move into 2021, look around and see who you can connect with, partner. Do not isolate yourself. You have resources and people that are willing to help you, and there are people out there that you need to help. They need you, and you need them. We need people. We need each other more than ever. Please look through your Rolodex. That kind of dates me a little bit. Some younger people going, Tim, what's a Rolodex? Look through your phones, your contacts, and say, who do I need to reach out to? Who do I need to message on social media channels and just say, hey, how are you doing? Is there anything I can do to help for you? Can I pray for you? Can I do anything for you? Can we get on the phone and have a conversation? Don't isolate yourself and don't allow others to isolate. Now, kind of a sidebar, that is one of the reasons why I believe having a coach or mentor is so valuable. And it's why I love doing what I do, because it forces interaction with someone who's got your best interest in mind. And it's just a valuable way to succeed. So kind of a sidebar is another reason just to partner or have a coach. So first was control, second decide. We just talked about partner. The next one is the word grow. And, there was a book that Carol Dweck wrote years ago. I think it was '06 or '07. She wrote a book called Mindset. And she basically said there's two types of people. There are people that have a growth mindset and people that have a fixed mindset. And let me just tell you, if heading into 2020, you did not have a growth or grow mindset, then you were most likely extremely uncomfortable as the year unfolded. And it was probably a painful year. If you had a mindset of growth, then you may have been able to handle the year a little bit better. Well, I believe that as we head into 2021 and we continue to see the economic transition unfold, as we continue to see what a pandemic and some of the byproduct of that unfolds, it is more important than ever to have the mindset of growth. So I really am personally going to challenge myself to grow more than ever. Glory and I, over the last few weeks, my wife Glory and I, we have been sitting down and looking at our calendars at what we need to do on a day-to-day basis to make sure that we are maximizing our productivity and maximizing what we believe we're supposed to do to achieve and succeed and to define and redefine success as we go into 2021. And part of that is just spending some time in prayer saying, Lord, what would you like us to do with the time that you've gifted us with as we move into this year? And one of the things we've just committed to each other is we've always spent some time with personal growth and reading and studying. And we study a lot of the Bible and scriptures, and we also read and journal. But one of the things we're attempting to do is spend anywhere from 2 to 4 hours every day. Now, we haven't gotten to this place yet, but it's something that we're working towards. 2 to 4 hours every day, pushing ourselves to grow and be more. And let me just tell you, I'm not saying I'm an old dog or anything. I just recently turned 57 years old, but I am going to be pushing myself to grow more than I ever have in my life. And I just encourage you, regardless of what you've done up to this point, try to do that also. Read more, listen to more podcasts, listen to more growth-oriented items on YouTube and videos. And if it means getting a coach or a mentor or being a part of a mastermind group or something that can help you grow, because this is just what I have seen, especially over the last year, is people that aren't focused and putting an incredibly intense effort into growth and growing themselves. It is almost like they're in quicksand. They just kind of keep sinking more and more. And I don't want to be that way. And I don't think you want to be that way either. So commit to grow. And, one of the things I did notice this last year, I want to say this one thing. I just looked down at my notes and I saw this. Many people this last year, depending on which business you're in or what was going on with your health and other things, there was probably periods where you were in survival mode. Literally, you felt as if you were sinking. And I want to acknowledge that many times it is difficult to focus on growing if you're trying to survive. And I have a few clients that right as this hit, Friday the 13th of March, right as this hit, we had to get on the phone and we had to go into quick survival mode. Looking at all our overhead and cost, looking at what's going on with employees, looking at what's happening with all of our resources and overhead and anything we need to do with our marketing. And I know many of you may have something similar to that. And listen, I get it. I understand. I totally understand that. But as soon as you get past that survival mode, I strongly, strongly encourage you to begin looking at what you could be doing to grow. And it could be as simple as, what are you doing to feed your mind? What are you reading so that you could expand? What are you doing to prepare for when we have a season where maybe the economy begins to, I'll use the word recover, reset, whatever it does. And listen, I'm not a big prognosticator or can't really predict the future, but I will say this, that it's very difficult for us in the world we're in with the way it's structured to go through times of shutdown and there not to be some economic impact. So I know that many of you that are leaders of companies or businesses or starting something, or even are a leader and work within the organization that you're in, I know many of you are going to be going through challenges and you might have to go through survival, but here's what's going to prepare you to deal with those survival times. It's focusing on growing when you don't have to survive. It's learning how to swim before all of a sudden you're on a boat that's sinking. And so focus on growth, focus on growth. Feed your mind, feed your mind with things that nourish it and help you get prepared for times that we may have difficulty in the future. So grow. So control, decide, partner, grow. And the final item, the fifth item that I want to mention is really from my engineering background, and it's really where the rubber meets the road, and that is implement. And the reason I bring this up, and I was disappointed in myself a few times during 2020. And listen, I think if everyone's truthful, they probably had this that happened. There were times where we got a little bit deer in headlights syndrome, where we were just kind of frozen and weren't really sure what to do, or that things were just happening all around us with all of what was going on in the world, or we were reading too much news and it just got to the point where it was difficult to do the things that we knew we needed to do, to implement. And so that's why this word implement is so important. And that is why I just encourage you to do something. Get busy, strategize. What are the strategies that you need so that you can day to day to day do things that will help you or your business or your organization or even your family or your household be what they were called to be and do what they were called to be. There were times, I know, when it was during the winter, it was cold, we were in Colorado, we were locked down. I kept reading a lot of the news. Things seemed pretty hopeless in the world. And you know what? The only thing that really was able to get me hope was just doing the things that I knew that I had control over. Back to the first item that I mentioned. And just implementing those things, sitting down, and for me, working with my clients, getting on the phone with clients, or recording a podcast episode, doing an interview, doing some writing. I was finishing up a novel, writing a novel at the time. So I encourage you, especially if you get to a place where you just have a little bit of a hopeless feeling, get busy, do something. I know that that will encourage you and help you just as you start picking off things off of your list. So implement, implement, implement. All right, so let me review real quick. 5 items, 5 keys, 5 growth items here. Number 1, control. Number 2, decide. Number 3, partner. Number 4, grow. And finally, implement, get busy and do something. Those are the 5 things that I've just observed. If you take one, if you take 2, if you take all 5, I will almost guarantee as you implement those or focus on those on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis, heading into 2021, as the year goes along, that week after week, month after month, you'll be able to look back and go, wow, look at how things are improving. I don't feel as if I'm stuck or in quicksand or having difficulty succeeding. And really, like I've said before, it's all about redefining success. And so anyway, I hope those items helped. I hope they're a blessing to you. I know it has been for me. And so just a couple of things before we wrap up here that I want to encourage you on. And really this kind of wraps around all of those items. And that is, I just want you to understand how critical your mind is during the times that we've just been through and as we head into whatever the future holds. And I want you to treat your mind like it's a treasure. Guard it, protect it. Don't let anything get into this mind or this head with your eyes, your ears, that will pollute it, that will contaminate it. I mean, we need to be guarding what goes in. And I've said this before in this episode, I'm going to repeat it again. I was allowing some of the garbage of the world with news and stories and the negative to really get me bogged down. And listen, I've got 40 plus years of studying leadership development and mindset and success principles. And I know that it was beginning to get to me in April and May of 2020. And I know better, and I know a lot of you do too. So I actually had to continue reminding myself that this head, this mind, it is a treasure, and yours is also. Treat it that way. Don't let any junk get around it. Don't hang out with people that might be taking away from you instead of adding to you. And my wife and I have this term we use, is that we want to be around people that celebrate us, not just tolerate us. And so I think that's going to be more critical than ever as we move into the year that is 2021. So I really do desire with this episode for you to take, if it's just one thing or everything that I've mentioned, and make 2021, even with the headwinds that might be blowing against us, I want it to be the best year you've ever had. Even if things are going crazy or chaotic around us, I really do think that we can have a great year. Expect good things, take action, put these things in place, control, decide, partner, grow, and implement, and just really seize this year that is 2021. And having said all that, before we finish up here, I just kind of want to mention something that kind of shortly before I clicked start here and started recording, and I'll just be honest with you, I was sitting here in prayer and I was saying, Lord, what is something that I can do that would be kind of cool and unique, that I could do the thing that I love to do, which is interact with people, coach, reach in and pull out the greatness that's already there, either in them or their business or organization, and maybe even make it available to people on Seek, Go, Create, to where we can share it. And so before we finish up here, I want everybody to hang with me here for the next 5 minutes, because I want to talk about something that I'm really, really excited about heading into this next year, 2021. And I just want to ask this question. Do you really want to redefine success in your life, your business, or your organization? Do you really, really want to? Are you just kind of okay with things the way they are? Because if you're okay with things the way they are, then these next few minutes may not really be for you. But if you really want to redefine success, if you want to really move to another level, if you want to really move to a place where you can not only be a blessing to you and others, but you could really start having the impact that you want to have, then I want to encourage you to do something. I want you to connect with me, and here's what I really would like for you to do. I would like for you to reach out to myself and our team, and I would like for you to just say, hey, Tim, I would like to participate in the Redefine Success 2021 coaching that you're doing. And let me just explain to you what that looks like. All it is on a monthly basis for the first 3 months of the year, I am going to get on the phone with some of you, and we're just going to have a coaching call. And what I typically do is, for a 45-minute session, we get on a Zoom call and we just go through what is success. And if we've been working together for a while, it's obviously much more strategic. But if we're first time talking, it's usually what is success and what are you doing to implement that in your life. So if you want me to coach you in 2021, I have a very unique offer for you. We plan to offer free coaching calls for leaders and business owners during the first 90 days of 2021. And here's how it'll work. All I want you to do, if you say, wow, I want something like that, all I want you to do is send our team an email. Our email is connect@seekgocreate.com. It's connect@seekgocreate.com. And then in the subject line, put Redefine Success 2021. and just maybe just a blurb about, I'd like to talk to Tim about coaching. And then someone from our team will reach out to you. Now, if you are watching this or experiencing this on one of the social media platforms or on YouTube, then all I would like for you to do is just go down to the comments and say, I want to redefine success in 2021, something like that. And someone from our team will be watching it. They'll reach out to you. They might ask you some questions about the leadership position you're in. If it's just you, if you're starting a business, that's great. We may be able to set something up there, because I love working with people that are in startup business. If you've already got an organization, either a ministry or a business, or you're part of a leadership team in a company, I love working with those. I'll tell you the ideal that I love working with is I love working with the entire leadership team of businesses or organizations. So if you have that, I definitely would love to talk to you. And so just send us an email. Again, connect@seekgocreate.com. That's connect@seekgocreate.com. Or if you're catching this on either on one of our socials, then just put a comment and our team will be kind of watching for that. And again, Redefine Success 2021. And here's what we're going to do. I'm going to be setting aside time to get on the phone with you, and we're just going to do a coaching call. We will record it. And what we'll do is at the end of the recording, I'm hopeful and I feel very confident that we're going to add value to you. But at the end of it, we'll discuss it. And if you are okay with it, and if I'm okay with it, we may allow that to be a future episode of Seek, Go, Create. Obviously, if we cover anything that's private or we don't want to share, we won't share it at all. But if it's something that we feel will be a blessing to others, if they could listen in, then we are going to do that. I just think that that would be very helpful for a lot of people. I've been wanting to do this for a while. I've been trying to figure out how we can kind of let people have a peek behind the coaching world that I'm in. It's what I love to do. So anyway, let's try to do that. So anyway, we are looking to invite you in to Seek, Go, Create, and I look forward to kind of chatting with you guys and coaching some of you and help you redefine success 2021. You know what? Let's get ready for an incredible year. There's so many things that we have in store for you on Seek, Go, Create. We're going to continue doing interview episodes. We're going to continue with some solo episodes. And let me just tell you, we're just going to have a great, great year. So to all of you, thank you so much for listening, and just continue going out there and being all that you were created to be.